We start here. The ANC Treasurer General Paul Mashatile has confirmed that the report on President Cyril Ramaphosa's Phala Phala farm robbery will be among the reports being tabled before this weekend's NEC meeting. Mashatile briefed the media a short while ago on some of the reports. Our reporter Govan Whittles is following the story for us and joins us now live from that NEC meeting in Newzroom. Govan, thank you for making time. So Paul Mashatile explaining what the NEC will be discussing this weekend, and there's confirmation that that report on Phala Phala from the Integrity Commission will be on the agenda.
It certainly is on the agenda. That item is coming up on Saturday night, tomorrow. And there are also a number of other issues that will be dealt with, but that, of course, one of the more anticipated issues. Also confirmation that the President has concluded his political overview, and that's currently under discussion. Let's just get some clarity from Paul Mashatile. He's the national spokesperson of the ANC, joining us now to talk. Firstly, thank you for your time. Paul, let's begin with the issue of questions. Usually we get a chance to ask a few follow-up questions here. Why did you decide not to have that today?
Well, good day and good day to your viewers. Well, just to correct that, we always open for questions when we do the pressers. In all the doorstops or doorsteps that we have done during the proceedings of the National Executive Committee, we used that to actually tell you about the agenda. Even during Comrade Jesse's, the late Comrade Jesse's times, we did exactly the same. We have done that. Even when Comrade Mashatile was there, we did exactly the same. So I'm just saying, just to be fair to your viewers, it has never happened that we make doorstops or doorsteps take the format of press briefings. What's the point of having a press briefings if you would have concluded on those things during this question and answer sessions?
Well, we get a chance to ask some questions. That is an indulgence, but obviously this is meant to lay out the agenda. Let's move on from that then.
No, but let's correct it. It has never happened like that. The last time we met with journalists in this way and had doorstops was in 2019. Because this is the first physical NEC we are having since the start of COVID. So post-COVID, this is the first time we're meeting physically.
Mr. Mabu, we've asked Mr. Mashatile many questions before during this engagement.
There were specific issues that did not relate to the NEC. They did not relate to the NEC. It was questions about issues around, matters that did not necessarily relate to what was discussed in the NEC. I'm saying this factually because I chaired all of those sessions. I've been spokesperson of the ANC since the start of the term of this National Executive Committee.
Even when Mr. Mantashe was the Secretary General, we also got a chance to ask him questions during these engagements. I
was never spokesperson when Mantashe was spokesperson. I'm not sure if this is what you want your viewers to know, or you've got other pressing things that you want us to answer.
Yeah, let's move on. Okay. There was an expectation that there were financial disclosures that were needed by today's date, the 11th of November, but you say there's some clarity that it's not necessarily compulsory for candidates to disclose their financial records.
Yes, basically the disclosure of financial records is voluntary. The expectation is that members of the ANC whose names have been raised as candidates for this or that position would find it in themselves to conform to the requirements of the Electoral Committee. But it's not compulsory. I mean, because the intention is not to criminalize cadres of the ANC who are standing. These are guidelines. They are found in the electoral guidelines that we have adopted. Because, you see, some of the things would have needed to even deal with them much prior. Because it's for the first time that the ANC finds itself in a situation like this. What we don't even know, because we never said that people can set up donation structures up front. We don't even know whether these comrades have raised funds or not. Now, if you did not raise funds to run your own campaign, so what are you going to be disclosing? Because if Govan contests to become an additional member of the NEC, or Govan wants to be president of the ANC, and Govan works for the department for a state department, and Govan decides that, okay, I will aid my branch using my own earnings as an employee. Surely Govan doesn't have to. It is only when you go out of your way to look for additional resources, have got donation or fundraising teams a campaign team and all of that. So, as a culture, members of the ANC are learning to adapt to this new way of doing things. What we like and appreciate with this is that it restores a culture of ethical conduct, brings in etiquettes on board, ensures a sense of responsibility and accountability.
Okay.
That we like, because this is what we had adopted as the leadership of the ANC.
All right, let's leave it right there. Thank you, Mr. Mabe, and we'll get clarity on which of the candidates actually disclosed once that press briefing is held on Monday with Paul Mashatile, the acting Secretary General. Is that correct?
We never said we're going to come to the media to report. So the Electoral Committee does not work like the Ethics Committee in Parliament, where everything it does, it publishes. There are things that are internal in the ANC.
All right.
So in Parliament, if Govan is a member of Parliament and he discloses, they can publish. In the ANC, the only thing we'll be publishing would be consolidated lists of candidates who have made it on the list. That's what we'll publish. Govan, it's for us here at home. Yes.
All right, but we certainly will ask Mr. Mashatile. That is definitely in the public interest. And thank you so much. That's Paul Mabe. He's the national spokesperson of the African National Congress. So a number of comments coming through from the sidelines of the National Executive Committee meeting. And even though some matters are internal, we have some commentary from Olisi Dukwana, specifically on Ace Magashule, who is, according to position within the African National Congress at the December conference. Let's take a look at what Mr. Dukwana had to say about Ace Magashule and his future in the ANC, and specifically his advice to Magashule.
I think as long as there are these challenges that he's facing legally, those are some of the things that have to be resolved. And up until then, I think, that's why when I met him about 3 weeks ago, I started talking to him about him availing himself as a member of the ANC and knowing what he's capable of, to make sure that he helps the ANC heal instead of working against the ANC.
Well, that's Olisi Dukwana speaking to Newzroom Afrika on the sidelines of the NEC meeting. Another leader that we managed to speak to was Nomvula Mokonyane, responding to what kind of pushback she expects in the NEC meeting after stating this is the weakest NEC in the history of the ANC. Mokonyane not holding back, saying that she's ready for any pushback and believes that the discussions in this meeting should be frank and open between the different delegates who are members of the NEC. Let's take a look at that.
I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that because, as I've said, we've got members of the ANC who have survived one of the most difficult experiences of the movement, the pandemic, the shutdown, and the collapse of all branches of the ANC. But it was individual members of the ANC who responded. But what has been missing is this national leadership. Many of us are not activists. Many of us run away when society is in need of leadership. One of the things that we must look at in considering this NEC is whether a person belongs to any other thing except this NEC. We've got members who are just nothing else except members of the NEC. And yet we've got members of the ANC who are members of the faith-based organizations, the Mothers Union, the trade union movement, the civic association, youth formations, and it is them who are doing a lot of community work. Let's find ourselves located to where our people are.
That's Nomvula Mokonyane speaking to Newzroom Afrika on the sidelines of the NEC here at Nasrec. Certainly a number of topical issues which are under discussion. Right now they're discussing the political overview of President Cyril Ramaphosa, who made that a short while ago just before lunch. And of course, when we were allowed into the venue, some interesting scenes from inside the NEC room. Selim Kiza occupying the front seat and he's being next to him is a number of senior leaders in the ANC who are known to be backing him for the position of president of the party. Could read into that what you may, but there's of course the big item at the agenda. That is tomorrow evening when the Integrity Commission's report on the Phala Phala farm gate will be tabled, and an intensive discussion is expected on that. On Sunday, the President will close this meeting with an address that will be open to the public and will most likely give an indication of his view on the Integrity Commission's report on Phala Phala. For now, it's back to you.
Yep, and that report is going to have some repercussions in any way, really, when it comes to that elective conference in December. Govan Whittles, thank you.